here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Conservative, not bitter. That is right. You're listening to Hour 2, the conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Email, todd@toddhuffshow.com, facebook.com/Todd Huff Show is where you can listen to the program. Hour number 1 anyway. Hour number 2 is on, of course, YouTube, which is where we are now. And look, a lot of stuff I want to get to today. Again, last hour, just between programs here, well, between hour 1 and hour 2, just a lot of things vying for my attention and kind of reeling between these two. But last hour, we talked about Biden and his comments about the black community not being diverse. In fact, I'll play the abbreviated version of the soundbite here, where Biden he actually did this twice yesterday. Once was at in an interview with on NPR. The other was with at an association meeting. I'm trying to pull the soundbite up here. The other was at a association meeting, NALEO, and I think it's the National Association of locally elected officials or something like that. But Biden had this brilliance to share yesterday with those who were listening. And this is the short version of the clip. Here you go.
Yes, and by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
All right, so that's what he said. Again, oh my goodness, he said this twice. He said this twice yesterday, and then his team got together and said, "Joe, you can't do that, man. You can't do these sorts of things." And so they said, we need to apologize for this, or not really apologize, because politicians don't really apologize. They do this whole, that's not me sort of bit. They say, this is not really who I am, what I believe. So we're going to go to Twitter. We're going to Twitter here and make our apology on Twitter, because we can't put you back out there in front of the cameras. We think that you're going to go out there and make this worse. We're going to hand you the metaphorical shovel, and instead of putting the dirt back in the hole that you just dug out, you're going to actually dig the hole deeper. So Biden didn't tweet this. Biden's handlers did, and this is what the tweet said earlier today. I made some comments about diversity in the African American and Latino communities that I want to clarify. In no way did I mean to suggest the African American community is monolith, not by identity, not on issues, not at all. We need to know what you meant then. See, tell us in your tweet what you meant, because what you said was, unlike the African American community, the Latino community is incredibly diverse. So if it's unlike it, if the African American community is unlike the Latino community, and the one thing you told us about the Latino community is that it is incredibly diverse, then you're saying the African American community is not diverse. So you said precisely that the African American community is monolith. I mean, that is exactly what that means. Just apologize. I mean, of course, he's not going to say that that's what he meant. But again, Joe Biden, this is the sort of thing, they talk about these things behind closed doors. They talk about groups of people in certain ways in the Democrat Party. And then this happens within the Republican Party as well. But they talk about these things behind closed doors. This is, there's the strategy, how the sausage is made behind the curtain, so to speak. And then there's what happens when you talk to people. And these are two diametrically opposed things. I mean, these meetings behind closed doors, these meetings where they're choosing the vice presidential nominee, which, by the way, part of me wonders. I find myself wondering this, and with all sincerity, I wonder if part of the hesitation or the delay in getting the new the nominee named, I'm wondering if some people are hesitant in naming this person because maybe they're not sure that they want it. Maybe what was said about Pence and whoever the Republican VOP choice was back in 2016, maybe that's actually truer in this case than it was in 16. In fact, you remember when Trump was looking for his vice presidential choice, the word on the street was, the word in the media was, this guy, no one wants this job. This is a political death sentence. Who wants to take this opportunity to be VP to have their political lives ruined? That was the narrative. I wonder if that is what's being said behind closed doors, because again, what's said behind closed doors and what's said in public in politics, and this is the case with a lot of people and in a lot of industries and a lot of examples and situations and so forth, but it's specific. It's definitely true, or maybe even dramatically true, in politics. And so I wonder if there's a delay there because people are thinking, I don't know that this guy is going to win. We've invested 5 years in destroying, literally nuking President Trump, says the Democrat Party, says the media. And the numbers are remarkably closer than we expected. And even one poll has Trump leading, which they could say that's poll's an outlier. That's not really reality. That's someone that's stacking the deck, which I'm sure that they do those sorts of things. But nonetheless, that's a poll. And then they think we've got this guy, Joe Biden, out there. Every time he goes out, he says something stupid like this, that we've got to send out apology tweets for this. So the apology tweets continued throughout my career. I've witnessed the diversity of thought, background, and sentiment within the African-American community. It's the diversity that makes our workplaces, communities, and a country a better place. My commitment to you is this: I will always listen. I will never stop fighting for the African-American community, and I will never stop fighting for a more equitable future. So that's what they teach you, right, in PR school. You say, I want to clarify my comments. Basically, you misunderstood me, you stupid people. You misunderstood the brilliance of Joe Biden. I want to clarify them because you're too stupid to understand. Obviously, that's what they're saying, because otherwise, if we misunderstood him, what did he mean? They don't address that. I want to clarify. In no way did I mean to suggest that the African American community is monolith. Then why on earth did you say it the way that you said it? They don't talk about that. Then they spin it. They spin it to say how I've worked to help the African American community and how I want to make this country better, the workplace better. When I'm elected into office, I'm going to do X for the black community. That's what I'm going to do in office. I'm going to cure diseases for all people. He may next come out and amend that. He may say, look, I'm going to even target curing cancer first for the African American community just to show how much I like and care for your community. I'm going to cure diabetes first for the African American community just because I care so much about your community. I'm going to cure Alzheimer's first in the African American community just to show how much I care for your community. I'm going to then cure COVID first for the African American community because this disease is hitting African American communities harder, and that's because Trump is racist, and I'm going to show you just how much I care. I mean, we're not far from that, right? That's a little bit hyperbolic, but also by a little bit, I mean not far from really where we are with how these jokers think. So that's kind of what we talked about last hour, but I want to shift gears here a little bit. a little bit. I saw this yesterday, and I have to tell you, this entertained me to no end. The headline, this is in IJR.org. IJR.org. Headline of this article. I got a kick out of this, dated August 6th. Headline: Biden vows that he would not step in to prevent the DOJ from prosecuting Trump. This is unbelievable to me. I was talking with Oz about this morning, and I said, the way that this to me is almost the poster child for examples of just how messed up the media is. So let's dissect this a bit, and I'm looking at the clock here to see how much I want to jump into this before we have to take a break. But I'll start. Let's compare. So let's say that Trump was asked when he came into office about prosecuting Barack Obama, his administration, right? Let's say even now. Let's say now, since what we know about the spying that took place on the Trump administration, Carter Page specifically, the abuses of the FISA warrants. We've got all these reports that have been generated, these Inspector General reports and Horowitz report and all this stuff. Some shoes are still, the other shoe is waiting to fall on some of these things. But if Trump was said, I'm not going to stop the DOJ from prosecuting Obama, would this headline read anything close to this? Wouldn't it say something like, Trump violates American history, protocol, the Constitution, and said he would not step in to prevent the DOJ from prosecuting Trump? This makes Biden's campaign, in part to the radical left, to the base, is predicated upon the notion that Trump is a criminal, that Trump needs to be replaced because Trump is dangerous. Trump is a menace to society. Trump is harmful to our health. Trump is damaging the Constitution. Trump is damaging the rule of law. Trump is trampling on what it is that made America America. And so there are people that are eagerly, again, they've been led down this path by MSNBC. They've been led down this path by some folks at CNN, others in the media, thinking that Donald J. Trump was basically a heartbeat away from being ushered out of the White House in an orange jumpsuit. Again, not to be confused with an orange pantsuit that Hillary Clinton owns, but to be ushered out of the White House in handcuffs and the orange jumpsuit, right? And so they have this, discussion with Biden, and Biden says, hey, it's very unusual to prosecute a former president, and it's probably not very good for democracy. This is what Biden says, but he's not going to step in the way. I'm not going to step in the way. So now we turn this into a Biden promise. Biden promises, Biden vows that he would not step in to prevent the DOJ from prosecuting Trump. It's remarkable. And I don't even know if they know they do this. Bradley Courtwright here, IJR.org. Biden vows, it's almost like a positive thing. Oh, he promises he's not going to stop the DOJ from prosecuting the administration that was in office before him. Meanwhile, if Trump said something like this, again, the headline would be something about how Trump was violating the Constitution, the rule of law, historical precedent, all these sorts of things, the will of the founders, and he would be going after Trump. He would be going after Obama, his predecessor, if he would do something like this. Biden saying, look, I just got to let the rule of law, I got to let it run its course. I can't step in and prevent it, folks. I just can't. Almost as though that's his inclination. Almost as though that's what he wants. You know how much I don't want to see this guy ushered out of here in handcuffs. You know how much I don't want to see this guy standing there with a mugshot, holding up his identification number. You know how much I don't want those things. I promise you that I'm not going to prevent it. That is remarkably anti-reality. That is so outside the realm of reality, so outside the realm of, decency, of common sense. This guy wants it. He's going to campaign largely on it, on being the replacement to a dangerous, anti-constitutional, menace to society in President Donald J. Trump. Now he's promising us that he's going to prevent the DOJ from prosecuting Trump. Or he's not going to prevent the DOJ, from prosecuting Trump, as though that's his inclination. Oh, I just want to step in and stop this because we can't have this. It's not good for democracy. Whatever. Gotta take a time out. Listening here, the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indy Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indy Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
Welcome back. You may have heard this as well. Commission rejects push to add debate. Rejects Trump push to add debate against Biden. So Trump and his campaign team were pushing for a fourth debate. This is typically something that is, typically we have 3 debates. Although the left was telling us that Biden didn't need to debate President Trump. fact, we've got Joe Lockhart out there. We've played this for you. Joe Lockhart telling Biden that, or telling America, telling the Democrat Party, speaking to Biden in kind of an open letter sort of format with an article on CNN, don't debate Trump. If you debate Trump, really what you're doing is giving him a platform to promote his lies and conspiracy theories. And you don't want to be up there correcting him. Again, as I've said before, I like this. I like it if I'm given the opportunity to share, to have a conversation with someone who distorts the truth. I like it if I have the opportunity. It's one of the reasons why I do this program is to help you have information. And we have CNBU as well, Conservative Not Bitter University, where we actually will have some courses. We're launching that hopefully later in the month. But the idea is to give people tools and strategies and techniques and training to become more effective at being conservative communicators. And I like it. I like it when I get to debate someone who's living in a fantasy world or not telling the truth about things, at least like in a public forum. Right? If you're on stage or if you're having a debate with someone and they're making stuff up, the best way to combat that is by shining the light of truth on it. I think it's interesting to me, truth is a word that terrifies many people. In fact, I see the left run for the hills when I talk about truth, or when people talk about truth. They don't ever talk about truth. They'll say things that make you believe that they're on the side of truth, that they want to stand for truth. They'll say things like your truth, which makes literally no sense at all. My truth, your truth. Truth is truth. Truth doesn't care who says it. Truth doesn't care what someone's opinion about it is. Truth is what it is. There's nothing that we can do. We can't wish it away. We can't ignore it. We can't plug our fingers in our ears and say la, 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 and it goes away. That's not how this works. And so I think that you welcome that if you're Joe Biden. I mean, the idea that you have a guy that's nothing but a lying fraud and you're afraid to expose him to people is just stupid to me. The reason they don't want Biden debating is because of the stupid stuff he says, and in particular, this example just that we shared today, saying that people in the black community are not diverse, and that the people in the Latino community are incredibly diverse. They know that there's going to be more comments like that. The more outside of his basement he gets, the more outside of the normal, the scripted or the controlled environment that he gets, the more that happens, the worse it's going to be for the Democrats. So that's why they know this. So Trump's team was actually pushing for a fourth debate. So you had one side. Now, Biden's campaign wasn't saying this. I'm telling you what, they were saying this internally. If we can get away without having a debate, that's what we'll do. If we can blame it on COVID, if we can blame it on something, that's what we'll do. Right? Maybe if Biden wouldn't have debated Trump because of fears of COVID, if I was Trump, I'd say, well, meet me at the grocery store then. We can go to the grocery store, put your mask on, we'll stand 6 feet apart, and let's debate. You say that we can go to work now. Thank you for, by the way, allowing that we can go to work. Although I did see that Biden is talking about potentially shutting things back down again if he's elected president, which has got to be mind-numbing to people who are trying to operate and run businesses right now, people who are trying to keep jobs right now. But anyway, I digress. So I would say, we got one side who's saying they want more debates. Trump's pushing for a fourth. I think they knew that this wasn't going to happen, but I think they wanted the record to show that Trump was pushing for a fourth debate against Biden. You got the other side who says we don't really want any. Don't debate him at all. So now Trump can come out and say, look, this guy is afraid to debate me. They're telling him not to debate me at all. I wanted to add one more debate so that the American people could make their decision. They could see the differences between our ideas, our abilities to articulate thoughts, respond to each other, defend our ideas, that sort of thing. And so now he's got the headline. Now, I want to share something here. That I came across. Now, I've shared on here before that I sometimes browse a website called Quora. And I've thought of actually creating a segment called Answers on Quora. In fact, I've got the little intro jingle in my head. Da-na-na-da-na. It's what it would sound like to me. Answers on Quora. So anyway, Quora is an interesting place. As I've shared on here before, Quora is a place where you can ask questions. You can ask a question. My favorite, I like aviation. My son's big into flying. He's draws airplanes. He studies airplanes. He knows if a plane flies over my house, he knows what type of plane it is. In fact, if it's a kind of plane that there's not many of flying into our airport, say, for example, there's one of them that's a 757, I think. It's not a common plane that flies into this particular airport. He actually told me where the plane was coming from, and he was right. I looked it up on Flight Radar or whatever that is, and he was right. Yeah, Dad, that plane's coming from Paris. And he was right. So anyway, I have an interest in aviation as well. In fact, when I was looking at potentially, I got medically disqualified from joining the military and actually even enlisting into the academies. During that process, we get the nominations and so forth, but I was medically disqualified. But one of the things I was wanting to do was fly. I was accepted to the United States Naval Academy, did not get in for a medical disqualification at the time, which, depending on your perspective, is potentially silly. But nonetheless, so if you look something up on Quora about aviation, how do I land a 747 jet, or what are some of the hardest runways or airports in the world to make a landing on, or why does this happen during flight? What does this mean? What does this instrument do? The pilots will jump on here and they'll answer questions, and it's interesting. Or you can take any industry or, area and have experts. But the one area that it's off the charts and it's crazy is when people talk about politics on Quora. And so I want to share this. And there's a question on Quora, and it reads this: now that the Commission on Presidential Debates has rejected Trump's request for a fourth debate, will he use it as a pretext to duck all debates? Why or why not? So I want to read you. So Trump's the one now. The question is basically saying Trump's the one that wants to to duck all the debates. He doesn't want to show up. I mean, how much of a fantasy world does one have to live in to believe that that's the case? Trump's the one that's afraid of going out on the debate stage against Joe Biden. Anyway, talk about that when we get back. Quick break. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
All right, welcome back. So we have this question on Quora. Again, I'm going to read it. We talked about President Trump. We talked about how the commission, the nonpartisan commission on presidential debates has rejected a request from Trump, from the Trump campaign, to either add an additional general election debate or move up the calendar for the contests. Because you do know, that's the other part of this. I just focused on the adding a debate, but you do know that there will be some people that be able to cast ballots even before the first debate happens. Again, the virtual candidate Joe Biden, who's running a simulated campaign, hoping to win this simulated, manipulated election with the help of Facebook and everyone else is trying to silence those who buckle up for that, by the way. Buckle up what social media is going to do to people as we move closer to this election. You're going to find a lot of things that get flagged by Facebook or other platforms because Facebook is now engaged in trying to steal the election for Joe Biden, trying to manipulate, steal, conspire, collude with the Biden campaign, the Democrat Party, the media to steal the election from President Trump. I can be on the record as saying that because that's what they've engaged in doing here, shutting up speech and shutting up opinions for very benign, incredibly benign things. That's what happened to us earlier this week. But going back to this question here, now that the commission, this is on Quora, again, a place where you ask questions and people can provide answers. Now that the Commission on Presidential Debates has rejected Trump's request for a fourth debate, will he use it as a pretext to duck all debates? Why or why not? Guy by the name of Chris O'Leary, he's a liberal. I've seen him on here before. His answer to this is, if he's smart, let me rephrase that, if the people who are running his campaign are smart, yes, the debates are a no-win situation for Donald Trump. Oh, my goodness. And that's 100% Donald Trump's fault. Trump and his cronies have spent the last 6 months pretending Joe Biden is afraid to debate. We have people saying Joe Biden shouldn't debate Donald Trump. Chris, that's out there being said by well-respected, well, in Democrat circles, respected consultants and experts and former Clintonites and all that. So he says Trump and his cronies have spent the last 6 months. I wonder if I'm considered a crony. I'm just a talk show host. I wonder if I'd be thrown in that bucket. Have spent the last 6 months pretending Joe Biden is afraid to debate. I'd say the last 6 months. I mean, gee whiz, I remember, talking about Joe Biden gaffes for years now. I don't think it's a lot more than 6 months. I think people kind of were salivating at the opportunity to debate Joe Biden long before Joe Biden knew he was the candidate, which I'm not sure he still does know that. But anyway, pretending Joe Biden is afraid to debate Trump and that a Biden-Trump debate is going to end in a massacre with Biden in a shivering heap on the floor with Trump standing over him triumphantly. I give that's a 5% chance. There is a 5% chance of that really happening, by the way, Chris. The problem, he continues, with that isn't that it's a hilariously bad projection of what's going to happen in the debates. The problem is that they've set the bar. Biden is sitting around with people laughing his backside off because the Trumpists have all set the bar so high for Trump in the debates that all Biden has to do is say nothing and shrug to every question, and it will be a disappointment for the Trumpists. I hope that that's the case. I hope Biden sits up there and sits quietly, Chris. I think that you, Chris, have underestimated what the president's going to do in exposing Joe Biden. If that's the strategy of Joe Biden, to sit there and to shrug off every question, do you really think when Trump goes to Twitter, when Trump calls into Fox News in the morning, when Trump goes to whatever Trump does, and Trump starts saying whatever Trump says, which he'll say it anywhere that he wants to say it, by the way. My opponent, Sleepy Joe, can't even answer a question at a debate. He sits there silently. The guy says what he thinks, which is apparently nothing, because he's not saying any words at the debate. It's an embarrassment to our society. This guy's not qualified to be president. How can we even know if he's qualified if he's not answering questions? He's not taking press briefings. He's not doing interviews. When he does, we see him say things like, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black, right? Black Americans who vote for Trump instead of Biden ain't black. That's what Biden says. You ain't black to Charlemagne, the God, whatever that means. And so you've got all of this. The idea that this exists in some sort of a vacuum is silly. The idea that the debates are shaping up to help Biden are truly ludicrous. I mean, Chris, I'm not saying Biden can't win this election. I want to go on the record of saying that this is quite potentially going to be it's probably going to be a very close election that comes down to turnout and how people who haven't made up their minds yet, either turnout or combination of these two things, turnout for, which side gets their voters to the polls, or maybe how many voters Facebook tricks into voting for Biden, since we're talking about, Facebook's allowed all this silly leftist rhetoric of Trump colluding with Russia and stealing the election in 2016 to run its life cycle. It's still got a life cycle. This thing is still out there. Now Facebook's doing all that it can to do what they've accused the Russians of doing. But, turnout's a factor. How people vote, how people, late deciders, how they've decided to go. And it's going to come down to a handful of swing states. And it could look worse or better or whatever. It could look very close, or at the final tally may be a bigger gap based upon, do all those states break the same way or do they break in different directions? Which candidate ends up getting more of those states that are in question? Questions like Michigan, or states like Michigan or Ohio potentially, Florida potentially, Texas, gee whiz, potentially, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota potentially. I think maybe Nevada, or as Trump says, Nevada potentially, Arizona potentially, maybe even Colorado. It might end up back on the swing state maps and so forth. So that's what's going to matter, is how these candidates, how these states break. And so it could be close. But the idea, Biden could win this thing. It's remarkable to think that a candidate that is as terrible as Joe Biden could win. But putting that aside for a moment, the idea that the debates have lined up to help Biden is completely living in denial. It's completely living in a fantasy world. This will not be a fun time. And I guarantee you, those closed-door meetings, they are talking about how to minimize the damage, how to minimize Biden's opportunities to make gaffes. Is there a way to get out of these debates? They are not looking forward to this. They are not salivating. They are not looking for the opportunity for Biden to go toe-to-toe with Trump and to take him down meticulously. That will not happen. That will not happen. And I've got to take a break. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. you can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS, too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Welcome back. By the way, I want to say that this, we're talking about this question that's been answered on Quora by Chris. I think Chris is an intelligent guy. He's a liberal, former Marine. So I mean, plenty of respect for Chris. But this is the idea that Biden and Biden's team are going to benefit from the debates. Look, in politics, anything is possible. So, I mean, is there a chance? Oh, my goodness, I suppose a chance. But this is the most unlikely of scenarios that I can imagine. I can imagine, before this benefiting Joe Biden, I can actually imagine Biden endorsing Trump during the debates. I can imagine Joe Biden forgetting, confusing any number of things. Forgetting that he's running for president, saying he's running for senator. He's done these things. Those things are astronomically higher. And the reality is, for the people who haven't decided who they're voting for, in most circumstances, I want to be careful here, but in many circumstances, let's say that, in many circumstances, a lot of these voters are going to make their decision on superficial things. And I can not conceive of any example of something superficial happening at these debates that actually helps Joe Biden defeat President Trump. He's not going to get him with a one-liner. He's not going to look like just, the smell test. It's funny to mention Biden and a smell test. Makes me think of him sniffing somebody's hair. Biden might sniff the moderator's hair. He might try to sniff Trump's hair. We just don't know what Biden will do. And so the idea that this is going to help Biden, I can conceive of really nothing. I mean, nothing I can conceive of will help him with these debates. And given that many people look at these, very superficially, which person looked like the more confident person? That's going to be Trump. Which person speaks more with more conviction? That's going to be Trump. Which person speaks with more? Which person can navigate the issues and go back and forth between things with more ease than the other? That's going to be Trump. I don't know anything that's going to be in the favor of Joe Biden. I don't care how high you set the bar. Trump's going to be closer to eclipsing that bar than Biden easily. Let's not forget, both candidates have a bar to reach. And you could say Biden's has been dropped so low. I still think the gap between Biden and his bar and Trump and his bar, even though Trump's bar is much higher, I might agree with that. Trump is still closer to achieving that than Biden. Got to take a break, come back and wrap up for the week. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indiedecorativeconcrete.com. www.indiedecorativeconcrete.com.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
Welcome back. So we are in the fun and exciting time here as we enter these less than 90 days now, right? Less than 90 days between now and November, November 3rd. So get ready. Biden's time of being able to hide in the basement is going to be coming to an end. Be prepared for more gaffes, more exposure of who Biden really is, what he thinks. There's less of, I think, a filter. And we're going to hear more of these things like we heard with these comments that he made about the African American community, the black voters in America being a monolithic group. They just all think and say the same things, and all black people in the minds of Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, I believe this, by the way, they view them, they're the same. They think all black people are the same. Reprehensible to think about, but that's what we've come to know and see how they believe and how they campaign and how they talk about issues and so forth. So anyway, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be exciting, but it's going to be fun and crazy as well. I've got to go. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. SDGC Monday. Take care. As a listener of this